I think this is a very, very significant move by Penduring, and I think it's quite timely that it happens on their 21st anniversary, and incidentally, they have come of age. Because I think in a country like ours, where you have such diverse people, that's part of what makes us unique. And for them to actually open up their doors to say that all indigenous languages in South Africa will now have an equal footing at the Penduring Awards not only gives the awards a very unique place within the South African advertising and communications landscape, but I think it's a hang of a significant step towards the right direction. This started a few years ago when they brought in the Truly South African Award. So I think, one must commend the Penduring Awards, because this is not something that just started today. And hence I say that this was a timely and necessary progression. But I agree with you. I think it's actually quite incredible that the Penduring would recognize that as much as Afrikaans is an important language for South Africans, but so is all the other languages, and you can never really connect with people unless you can connect to them in their own languages. We often talk about is still to this day the inaccessibility of a lot of these advertising colleges, particularly for young people who come from disadvantaged backgrounds. So I think what we've tried to do as the different industry bodies is that we've tried to almost lessen that burden on them. We've tried to almost create different shortcuts that you may not go to a Vega or any of the amazing schools that we have, but there's still space for you. So we've got programs like the Umuzi program, etc., etc. But what that ultimately means is that when these guys get into an agency, they may not be as proficient as perhaps others when it comes to things like the English language. And what we've always felt and what we've always said is that there needs to be a space to make sure that they can still express themselves in the language of their choice. Because just like the South African population, that is what they speak at home. I feel like we haven't made significant or enough strides towards making it mainstream. But what I'm proud to see is that over the last probably 3 to 5 years, there's been incredible strides and achievements that we've made in this field. So I think for me, if you look at things like the Proudly South African category in the Penduring, if you look at things like the New Voice category in Loeries, which they've also extended now to other categories, although Loeries is still mostly, the English is the main language of the awards. But I think for me, what that shows you is that there's been a lot of strides for that. And the most incredible thing for me has happened, and that is the fact that we've gone away from what we used to do back in the day, where everything was written in one language and then just merely translated into the others. And what this kind what these kind of interventions do is that they not only encourage writing in these languages, but also thinking in these languages. Interestingly, I find that with quite a lot of my clients, I think the clients are waiting for us to guide them in this field. I think that what I've noticed is that there's a lot of openness to this kind of thing, because if you look at the socio and economic patterns of the country, these mother tongue markets are getting more and more into the mainstream economy. And unless you reach out to them in a way that actually significantly speaks to them, then you lose out on all of that. So I think for me, what I've noticed with a lot of my clients is that there's absolute openness, But for a long time, I think we just haven't been able to really offer that service. And I think this is where things like diversity and transformation become so important in agencies, because it's one thing to have all these awards open up for indigenous languages, but if we've only got English speakers in our agencies, then I think that really defeats the purpose. So I would encourage all agencies to start hiring the right staff, the right diverse staff, so that they creative departments and indeed the agencies start to reflect the people that the ads are being made for in all their diversity. My personal favorite from way back in the day was the old Molo Mhlobo Wam, which was done for Telkom. Such a brave ad. In fact, one of the ads that got me to want to get into advertising. I thought it was a groundbreaker at the time when it came out. But then looking forward and looking at some of the stuff that we've been doing over the last couple of years, I think they've been really, really fantastic stuff that have been done for brands like KFC. I mean, there was a fantastic ad that was done last year that was using a Kuli Chana song and just really, and using the nuance of what he'e means in indigenous languages, and it was just fantastic. There's been fantastic stuff that's been done for some clients, the likes of DSTV. I mean, we as an agency did some stuff for Tracker not so long ago that we really, really enjoyed, for Brothers for Life, which was one of our clients. And there have been many from just all the different agencies that are really, really starting to change the landscape of our South African advertising and the aesthetic thereof to make it uniquely us.